vapid, but I think they tell a story about who we are, where we were, where we're going. So I think, yeah, let's take a deep dive. Hey, episode 1 I started with, or edition 1, depending if you're reading or watching. I started with a fun one, I think. It's a movie from the 90s. No, it's not Titanic. No, it's not Romeo and Juliet. I think those two examples say a lot about me as a person, but I digress. It's Muriel's Wedding. For those of you that don't know, it's a movie from the mid-90s starring Toni Collette. It's kind of what made her famous, and is Australian. Did I mention that? It's Mamma Mia for the unhinged girlies. It is deeply unhinged, but I think in the best way. Only in it's unhinged in only a way a 90s film kind of can be, which is why I kind of chose to kind of pick it up. And I also chose to pick it up for this is because no one really talks about it. Like, we mentioned Legally Blonde, sure. Devil Wears Prada. We focus on the 2000s maybe a little bit, 13 going on 30. And as I said, the 90s, what do we have? I was gonna say Heathers, that's the 80s. We had a few things, but it wasn't, I've still just got Romeo and Juliet in my head. Muriel's Wedding is something it's a movie I think is really deeply overlooked. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so Muriel, main character. What to say about Muriel? She is considered fat. She is considered weird. She's considered awkward. Her family is really quite questionable, and it's quite questionable that she might be the thinnest one of her family. She's bullied by a bunch of mean girls. Well, mean girls, frenemies. So she steals a bunch of money, her family's money, and goes on holiday where these mean girls will be because she wants to befriend them. But then she meets her old friend from high school, Rhonda. They hit it off, and then they move to Sydney together. And she moves with her money that she stole. I think it's safe to say she's the anti-hero of the movie. She is well-rounded, definitely. So something I kind of hit upon that I think really works, that I don't see much in movies. I don't see much with women in movies, whether it's now or 10, 20 years ago, whatever. Muriel is so deeply complex. You are not rooting for her. You don't think, oh my god, she's right. Oh my god, yes. You're like, no. Like, she lies all of the time. Like, all of the time. Like, one point, she goes to different wedding dress stores and tells them that, like, her mum is, like, sick or dying or whatever. And she takes pictures of herself in the wedding dress because she's so desperate to be married, because she wants to be validated. Because at that point in her life, in her society, in her town, in her mind, being married would mean a guy would like her, and that's validation. And then, you know, like I said, she steals the money, right? That's not a great thing. She does a few other questionable things. But that's kind of really what I liked about it. It kind of reminds me of Fleabag in that way. And it's like, it's so complex and so layered, and nothing is black and white. And that's kind of what makes it so compelling as a movie, and Muriel so compelling as a main character. What I also really liked about it was the fact that, okay, I don't know about you, I heard about the movie, but I didn't really know what to expect. So I hear the title Muriel's Wedding and I'm like, oh my god, Muriel's gonna get married at the end. Spoiler. Yes, there's a wedding, but it's not what you think. And that's kind of what I like about this film. Friendship and authenticity. I hate the word authenticity, but kind of go with me here. Friendship and authenticity is at the heart of it. And yes, there's a wedding. No, it's not what you think at all. But her friendship with Rhonda and kind of acknowledging who she is as Muriel, as a daughter, as a friend, as a wife is kind of paramount in her journey. And that's kind of is quite nice, because I don't know about you, but when Andy from Devil Wears Prada kind of ran back to the boyfriend, I was like, really? And Mamma Mia was a bit too like, oh, my husband, oh, this guy, at the end. I don't know. I just feel like this was quite a nice change of pace. Maybe it's because I grew up in the 2000s movie and they were very male-centric, which was quite annoying. But I did find the connection between friends, something that, I don't know, I really was like, oh, I liked it a lot. And the movie, as I said, is from Australia, and I quite like that. It has a humour about it that American films don't have. And I mention American because that's primarily what I watch. That's primarily, I think, what a lot of people watch, just because of how the Hollywood system is and the money in Hollywood, well, that was in Hollywood, especially at that time. It has a humour and a darkness that is so well balanced that I don't think American movies have. Also, when American movies try to portray weird, it's kind of like Zooey Deschanel. And you know, that works sometimes, but it's constant. So it's nice and refreshing to have this change where it felt like more relatable or more believable or the kind of realistic element just made the whole story just like, oh my god. So got my iPad out, which means it's serious. But one thing that I think made the movie so successful was it could be interpreted in so many ways. Everyone could relate to it in a kind of weird way. So for me, like, Muriel was playing Mamma Mia in her room, being really sad and kind of closing out the world, and she would have the same song on repeat, you know, and I've been there. For other people, it was that story of leaving a small town and making their way towards a big city, you know, finding that kind of like a different crowd of people, a different way of life, escaping that kind of maybe claustrophobic. I am not from a small town, but that's what I heard it's like. Let me know. For other people, and I thought this was really poignant. So the director, Hogan, he basically said that a gay guy came up to him and said, I was in New York and once a gay man told me that what the film meant to him, and gave me a whole thesis about how Muriel's wedding was not only a metaphor for LGBTQ people growing up in a small-minded place, but also for the AIDS crisis. When you or your best friend got sick and you were dragged to the judgmental place where you're not seen or loved, like Rhonda is, that was every gay man in New York's deepest fear, being cut off from their new family. And I do think, and again, for other people, it might be the family aspect, because Muriel's family is awful. And it's not in an obvious way that they're bad too, which I think makes it interesting. But anyway, I digress. This movie can be interpreted in so many ways, and it can be internalized so many ways. I think that's what makes a good piece of art. It's not telling you what you should or shouldn't believe. It's not telling you who is good and who is bad. It's simply presenting a story. A story, by the way, that's based on his real life sister. But his sister said to him, of the director and writer, his sister said to him, if you do it, make sure I'm not the bad guy. And he did, and it's fantastic. So I think between the kind of inclusivity of the film, the artistry of the film, and the way that it plays on a rom-com that's not a rom-com, I just think it works really well. And I think it's a shame that it's gone kind of under the radar a little bit. I believe this year is its 30th anniversary, and I didn't know about it. I just happened upon finding it on Amazon Prime, and I think it definitely celebrates the weird and the wonderful, and we need more of that. Additionally, who doesn't like to see a video store in a film? Because Muriel works in a video store, and weren't times good when we could just rent a movie? Anyway, I go down the rabbit hole, a deeper dive on my Substack. So if you think you want to read more, please read more. Or at the very least, watch the movie and tell me what you think. Bye for now.